So no, reason can't find God, because Paul and reason can find nothing except the aspects of the fall. Only faith which takes God on his terms, by his revelation, as we would say, by Jesus Christ, can you find God, because then you find him. Faith has the knowledge of that which it takes. And faith is the evidence of the things it takes. If it's faith in the unseen, the evidence of things unseen, as Hebrews 11:1 says. So when you take him by faith, you have him. Then you found him because he found you, which you had all the time, yet you just hadn't found out, that's all. He found you from the beginning. Uh, 13:24. Wherefore hidest thou thy face, and holdest me thy enemy? This block had come in between of law and judgment and the mistaken concept of God. So God's face must be hidden, because God is not law, law is grace. So if you see God as law, he's hidden his face. And lots of people describe their morning services, they've never seen God, because they've always seen law, they've been told nothing to do this, nothing that. And that's not God. And the God that is a false concept of God, which is by some silly passing up in the platforms of songs or something, I think that's God. That's not God. God's here, not there. You don't find God by hearing something about God, you find God by knowing his hand and therefore being forward. And so, why do you hide your face? Why have you hidden your face? It cries out in 23. Which is a famous statement. Verse 3. Now we have cried this, and God meets them. Oh, if I know where I might find him, that I might come even to his seat. That's the real heart cry of everybody if they admit it. And the whole world, because the world, of course, is fallen in being, and therefore they're lost while they're far away from him. Oh, if I know where I might find him, and I might come even to his seat. And in the same one, the search which can discern can't find, is faith find, it takes fact. The search can't find. It may condition you to take faith, but it can't find. And so it goes on here, in verses 8 and 9 of that same chapter. Behold, I go forward, he's not there, and backward I can't perceive him. And the left hand where he's going that work, I can't behold him. He hides himself on the right hand, I can't see him. Is that a statement? Apartness from God. Probably you all have to go through this in order to transcend it in faith. But what a statement. Behold, I go forward, not there. Go backward, can't perceive him. Left hand, there he works, can't find him, can't behold him. Hides himself on the right hand, I can't see him. Oh, if I but nowhere I might find him. 28. 12. Where shall wisdom be found? And where is the place of understanding? He knows it's on beyond. It's a very beautiful poetic statement, this one. This is a statement where he says, in verse 7, there's a path which no power knoweth. There's a very thin bit of that one. Which the righteous eye have not seen. The highest who has the clearest sight. There's a path which no power knoweth, verse 7, which the righteous eye have not seen. The liars work of that fragment, nor the fierce lion pass by it. But where shall this wisdom be found? Where is the place of understanding? Man knoweth not the price thereof, nor is it found in land and living. The depth treasures not in me, the sea treasures not in me. Can't be gotten with gold, neither silver weighted the price thereof. Can't be guided by the golden ophir. No mention to me the coral and pearls. Whence, verse 20, whence then cometh wisdom, and where is the place of understanding? What a statement is it? What a statement. Can't be found here, can't be found there, where is it? It's there all the time, but only by the freedom of the choice of faith, not by finding, but by accepting and recognizing. Now, and this is perhaps the last we say now, there will be one or two great leaps in Job. Job knew the truth. and flashes out like a beacon, because he knew it. There is no sign that these other men knew had this light. So I don't think they did. They may have had some faith relationship with God, but Job had a knowledge relationship, not a faith one. And sometimes it just bursts out of him. There are three famous statements which it bursts out of him. The first is in 23:10. Suddenly he says this. This is where he's so confounded. Same chapter is confounded. I reversed that in a sense. Lovely. Verse 10. He knows the way that I take. When he has tried me, I shall come forth as gold. That's lovely. He knows the way. When he has tried me, I'll come forth as gold. That's faith. They took it one, two steps farther. One a very big one. In 13:15, he made the most famous statement in his book, which is a wonderful statement. It's still a gritted teeth statement. It's not a liberated statement. It's a wonderful statement. But it has an element of negative in it. So if a teeth has that level where it's a gritted teeth, I hold on. So it isn't hold on, it's being held on to and enjoying it. It's the other side, it's got you. And this is the famous statement. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. But I will maintain my own ways before him. You didn't know that one. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. That's what it says. Comes out there. He find me, I kind of come as goes, though he slay me, I trust him. Now there's a negative there, a kind of, well, I may be slain. Not that there might be some purpose of joy in the slaying. But it's used by thousands and blessedly used. Oh, tens, I say millions have stood that down on this quite precious statement. But the whole book is worth the whole statement. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. That's the human side of faith. The divine side of faith is the substance that comes to you. Now that substance came marvelously through in a marvelous statement. And this man, perhaps the first book written in the Bible. And that is in chapter 23, verse 10. Am I right? No, sorry, I did the wrong one. It's 1923. No? Yes. No, I looked it up. I remember. It is 1923. It is 1923. Burn out of it. All of my words were now written. He suddenly lifts right above all this stuff. All that they were put in the book, and they were graven in an iron pen, and laid in the rock forever. For I know that my Redeemer liveth. And then he goes on. He not only says he's here now, but he's going to come back. It's the first statement of the direct statement of the second coming of the Bible. He shall stand in the latter day on the earth. And then he goes further, and he says, I'm going to have a resurrection body. This is fantastic. This is the original translation. I think they've tried criticism in some of their translations. In verse 26. Though after my skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I see God. Obviously in the flesh. Whom I shall see for myself, person to person, and my eyes shall behold, and not another. Isn't that wonderful? What a statement. After all this apparent God, this man had light, of course. You read it again? For I know that my Redeemer liveth, and I know that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. And even though this body is corrupting, yet in my flesh shall I see him. And I shan't see him some very day, I shall see him face to face. See him for myself, and my eyes shall behold him. And then he said a lovely thing. He caught it. Lovely thing. he turns, as it were, to others. But you should say, but what you should say is, why persecute ye him, seeing the root of the matter is found in me? Is that right? So, why don't you say, what do you persecute that fellow for? The root of the matter is in him. This is true. Here's the root of the matter. I have my God. I have my Redeemer. I am in this redeemed relationship. Somewhere it's here going to come to pass. And I thought this word of glory. This was word of glory. Not word of gritted teeth. But word of realized faith. So right in the middle of this great black childhood. Now that's the end of the interchange that took place between Job, his three friends, and talking with God. God not just talking back to him. Talking with God, making questions of God, finding his way. And you see he had the way, but because it wasn't confirmed in him yet, he slipped up. And he moved into a legal controversy which he wouldn't have moved into if he showed the way, because he really wouldn't see the law. He showed the way, what does and God? They say no God. They are bad to you. The fact that he responded to the law means he hadn't quite got it yet. There are certain elements in which he saw things under the law level, which is the self level. I should be this, and should be that, and God punishes and all that. And so he had to be lifted into a permanent level where this law stuff has disappeared, and had lifted brothers up to him. So it was necessary to go through this controversy, attempts of justification, and then questioning about himself, and trying to find God, and so on, in these flashes of witness. We haven't preached this morning, I thought we might. Well, that's all I'll say. But, this evening we finish David. Not that will take a great deal of time, there are a few things. We've done, in some ways, the major parts of David that are best to look into. That's all. So again, tomorrow, this evening may be fairly short, I don't know. Where we all right? So you're already going, okay. We have the intervention of Elihu. Before the direct word came from God to Job. We know nothing about Elihu, except he was a young man and had something very strongly on his heart to say to Job and his three friends, and they form a little bit of a preparation for what the final word is to be, direct from God. Elihu's talk recorded is from chapter 32 to 37. He was a modest young fellow, because he said that he'd sat with them and had been quite stirred by the give and take between both on the part of both the friends and Job, but he waited to speak until the others spoken because they were older than he. And he says that, or it says that when they had no more to say, they did have no more to say after Job had given his final opening up of his past life, which is so enormously impressive, which we saw him in this morning. The kind of life he lived in his previous days. Apparently they shut their mouths. They said, what more could they say in a man who lived life like that? Anyhow, they didn't say any more. Job didn't seem to wish to add to it. So now Elihu stepped in. I like that. He wasn't pushful, he wasn't making out he knew better than other people. But he did say he had a strong sense of urge to speak. He spoke of it in the 8th verse as a spirited man, and the inspiration of the Almighty gives understanding. He felt he had some further understanding to give, and it was burning in him to pass it on. And he made a little pertinent remark for his elders. Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand their judgment, which is a little wag for them. And so he, now quite modestly, asked him to listen to what he had to say, and I think it was acceptable to him because he had this modest approach. He spoke of himself as being full of matter. The Spirit is constraining him. That's good. The person should want to say something. That's in the 18th verse of the 32nd chapter. What he did say was really a rebuke, both to the friends and to Job. He spoke quite plainly to the friends and adequately. Though he said he was concerned about the three friends in the 3rd verse of the 2nd chapter, 32nd chapter, because they have found no answer and yet it condemned Job. That's very good. That about sizes it up. That's what's up ourselves when putting other people down. They find no answer, and yet they condemn them. They wouldn't replace what they said by an adequate, satisfactory alternative. And that's what it was. Of course, thank God, we do move in with the alternative. That's why we feel we've got something to say. The emphasis in all our talk, of course, should be, if we do touch the negative, always that we're presenting the alternative and replace with other negative by the positive. Concerning Job, he said straight out that he wanted to speak because he was righteous in his own eyes. And I said, I don't know if that's wholly fair to what Job said. He kept saying that the real righteousness of Job was not to be attributed to Job in a self-righteous way. It was a product of his relationship to God through grace and the Spirit bearing fruit through it. I think it's fair to say that. I think all the things he said all the way through, the attitude he had, proves that, because that Satan couldn't touch. That is, he had a fixed inner consciousness that God was working his ways out. He was God's man, and all that came through was God's will. But he got disturbed from that by these discussions. However, it appeared like that to Elihu, that he was righteous in his own eyes, and there was some truth in it. He repeated that's the same thing in the 33rd chapter, that Job was spoken in his hearing, he said, and that his words have been that what Job was supposed to say, I am clean without transgression, I am innocent, neither is there iniquity in me. I still maintain that's fairly true. The fellow outward sins, but on the other hand, he did say he had a sin before God. And no man can say he was justified before God. Elihu seemed to pass that away, because that was the major defense Job was raising. He was okay, righteous. And then he was complaining against God, so Elihu questioned him, saying, behold, Job saying, he finds occasion against me. He touches me for an enemy, pushes my feet in stocks, marketh all my paths. He quoted that as being the general attitude of Job, questioning or even murmuring against God, as well as defending himself against the accusations of being a sinner by his friends. Now the one answer that Elihu did give, which I think in one sense is what he was right to say and the right thing. He just says this, behold, in this, verse 12, in this thou art not just, I will answer thee that God is greater than man. That's about it. So I think that Elihu did have a clear word there. God is greater than man. So if you're, what are you doing? Raising questions if you knew better than God. He further took that further, and he said God speaks to us in a way. He doesn't specify it more clearly. He said God speaks once or twice by dreams. He opens the ears of men to give instruction, so that he can withdraw men from their wrong ways, keep their soul from the pit, and chastens them. So there's a little bit of the truth. He is not saying what they said, that God condemns them to Job and casts Job out because he's a sinner, and Job has been punished for sin. He didn't say that. He did say that God has ways in which he chastens us, and says things to us in a vision or by outer circumstances to keep us from going the wrong way. He chastens us also with pain upon a man is chastened also with pain upon his bed, in verse 19. And the multitudes of bones with strong pain, and so on. So he didn't antagonize Job in the way that the brothers had done so. He made a few little other statements about God, which are pertinent as a preparation. In verse 34, chapter 34, verse 16, he said, if now thou hast understanding, hear this. Hearken to the voice of my words. Shall even he that hateth right govern? That's a pertinent remark. If you're a governor, you can't be governed on the basis of hating right and loving wrong. The idea of God, if God is God, he can't have built a world in which he hates the right and furthers the wrong. That's chaos. In the subject of God is to govern the universe, he governs to make the best universe he can. That's a common sense remark. Is it fit to say to a king thou art wicked, and the princes ye are ungodly? Well, sometimes you do in the human world, but the idea is that the king is governing in the best way for his people. It doesn't always work out like that, as we know. So he made that remark. And again, verse 23 of that same chapter, for God will not lay upon man more than right, that he should enter into possession with God. But what God lays upon man is right for that man. That's a good remark too. So he's gradually saying some things to Job, which should counter his almost violent question, or he'd been taken through. That God will not lay upon a man more than is right for him to have, so he shouldn't be in a position which he can counter God about it, and enter into judgment with God about it. And that we should take it that a true governor is governing in the way which is right for those for whom he governs. At least we should say that of God. So he then said, therefore it is meet to be said to God, I have borne chastisement, I will not offend any more. So he takes the chastisement line rather than the punishment line, which is nearer to the truth. It isn't really chastisement. It is perfection. Because God's very leading Job out of the wrong attitudes, the negative attitudes which carry his output, to the positive attitude. Call it chastisement if you like, but I think there's a part of the process of perfection. Perfection is union, stabilized union. That which I see not, teach thou me. If I do iniquity, I will do no more. That's the major part of what Elihu says, and it adds that much to what the others have put little correction on. The best thing of all is God is greater than man. That shuts you up. Shouldn't we think of God is the author of the universe, that he authors on right lines, not wrong. He doesn't author it for chaos, but for harmony. Should we therefore take it that if he lays certain things upon man, he does it because that's exactly what suits the person in question. He also had picked this up, as you mentioned before, so I think it's true. He came to be what Job said he missed. He wanted someone between them who would kind of put their hands on both their shoulders and explain things between them and him and God, a day's man, a mediator. And Elihu speaks as the one who understood that this is what he was there to do. Behold, I am according to thy wish in God's stead. That's in 23:6. Behold, I am according to thy wish in God's stead. I also am called out of the clay. Another little phrase which has gone down to history. One of the phrases is used at least in the English language. If there be a messenger with him, interpreter, one among 1,000, to show the man's righteousness. It's a phrase we use of a special person, special benefactor. That's 23. So that's come right into our common English phraseology, certain phrases that have come out of this book of Job. If there be a messenger with him and an interpreter, one among 1,000, to show unto man his righteousness. Then he is gracious unto him, and saith, deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom. Some touch of a mediator, some touch of an intercessor. He is one among 1,000, and he will step in and he will call on God to deliver him from destruction, and that he's in a sense providing a ransom. Though all these things worketh God oftentimes with man to bring wretched soul from the pit. That's the main lines that Elihu took with Job. He did speak strongly in the end, and again, perhaps he's right. In the 34th chapter, he again strikes at Job. He said, what man is like Job who drinketh up scorning like water? That's in verse 7. Then he says this, Job has spoken without knowledge, his words were without wisdom. My desire is that Job should be tried unto the end because of his answers for wicked men. For he had this rebellion unto his sin. So he wants Job to have all the trial he should have which can fit him for deliverance. Well, that's true in a way. We respect each other. If God takes us all the way down in comparison to going all the way up. So again we made a bold statement, and a statement which fits the facts. And his final word to Job, again, was good. In the last chapter of his talk, 37th chapter, and the 14th verse, "Hearken unto this, O Job, consider the wondrous works of God." And he does actually, through that chapter, begin to touch a bit on God's manifestation of himself in the wonders of nature. God picks it up in full force himself. And I should just give a little touch in that direction. So going and preparing Job what God's going to say to him. So that's about the gist of what he says. God's greater than man. If God is the ruler of the universe, we should take it for God. He's ruling rightly, not wrongly. And what he gives to each of us, it suits our condition. You've spoken words out of turn, Job, which isn't, as I say, all the truth about Job, but certainly not the basic truth about Job. And it's good that you should have what you need. Have the sun sprinkled on you until you're ready to get a right adjustment. And his final word now, says Job, if you have a little idea of some of the greatness of God, hearken unto this, stand still and consider the wondrous works of God. That ends the records of what man's had to say in these fiery trials of Job. What Job said about him, what these three men have said about him, and some summing up and challenge and call to Job to look out to God now, listen to what God has to say from this young man who sat in apparently with them all through the time. Now there remains what God says. The basis of what God says is quite plain. Faith has always been a leap beyond reason, although it may have a certain amount to help it, which is accepting what it takes on its own values, on its own terms. Always is. Faith is always a leap beyond the certain. A thing may be available, a thing may be suitable. You cannot prove it reliable. A thing is only proved reliable when we attach ourselves to it, and then in the attachment we prove its reliability. So faith is always a leap beyond reason. Reason to take you to a thing being available and suitable, but cannot take you to the certainly it's reliable. So when God now speaks to Job, he makes no attempt to reason with Job. He speaks to him as a whirlwind apparently. So now you listen to this, Job. You listen to who I am. That's all. You listen to who I am, then answer. He says, you darken counsel by words without knowledge, because he had the counsel he saw previously at the beginning, he had it right. He darkened it by being caught up in the question of what his sin was God punishing, what was God meaning by it all, and so forth. He moved off from simple faith to inadequate questioning, inadequate reasoning. They might be replaced by adequate reasoning, which you don't have to now. All he said to Job was that. Now, listen to what I'm saying to you as a revelation of myself, and line yourself out. Or I'm going to tell you who I am. You line yourself up with that. These were the early days. Revelation hadn't yet come in the love of God expressed to us as it is in Christ. So there's no revelation of that type in this presentation of himself to Job. That was opened Job's eyes to the kind of person God is, evidenced by what he does. Line yourself up with that. Can you do that? Can you do this? If you can't, what's your question me? If there's this and this and this and this being done around you, being done perfectly, in the harmonies of creation, why are you questioning me? Why don't you take and why therefore all ideas in the right harmony? That's the basis of his challenge. It comes out in a marvelous and often poetic declaration of God in his creation. It has great beauty in the statement, but has constant challenge. He's constantly bringing up situations in creation which are obviously beyond the presence of man when they were created, or the power of man in fulfilling them. And he keeps asking Job, can you do this? Could you do that? And he starts from the creation when he says, where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare thou hast understanding. Start there, where were you? When I laid the foundations of the earth. Where, which is added, that little statement, which is also his great favourite, and gives a little touch of the joy there is in the creation, and the goodness in the creation, which is going to come out in all its glory again one day, when the earth is filled with knowledge of the Lord, and the water covers the sea, and when the corruption of creation is removed. And that lovely phrase, when the morning stars come together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. You know? That's a symbolic indication of the glory of the true universe of God, to which it will be restored. As it says, this groaning earth is waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God, that they may participate in the freedom of the redeemed family.
Please turn the tape over at this point.
Which puts in the possible situation, look at the sea. Could you bind the sea so to have certain shores and limitations? Those are verses 8 onwards. So it doesn't overflow and flood anything, so it keeps its place. Could you do that? And then you move on to verse 12. It says, could you produce the wonderful dawn for the day spring? Beautiful phrase, the day spring from on high. It's closely because of Jesus. But we all know the freshness of the dawn. Could you bring that to me? And when the light burns, he uses as the light shines and removes the hidden points where people do things in secret they shouldn't do. Could you do the other way? Can you open the gates of death? Can you handle death in its meaning? Do you have a meaning? One great question mark that runs through history. What's death? Do we find the answer in Jesus Christ? That's in verse 17. Do you know where light comes from? That's the great question of scientists today. What's light? Everything's light. We find out its speed, how it's operating. Scientists say, I believe everything really is some form of light. Which way is the way of light dwelleth? So you continue to ask things which are take man totally out of his depths. After whatever it is now, 5,000 years, we're still out of our depths. We're still feebly investigating around through a telescope and through the electronic microscope and so on, and trying to find the from the tiniest particle up to those things they have up there, what they call it, where the stars get together, what they all mean. They moves on again, says, have you entered the treasures of the snow? And you've got these different poetic terms. Have you seen the treasures of the hail? Can you produce this beautiful thin snow, sparkling in the sun? That's in verse 22. It's the very rain that brings freshness by that drought and famine. Can you do that? Can you cause it to rain, he says in verse 26? Cause the rain of the wilderness where no man is, and bring fruit into desolate ground? 27. I love the phrase, hath the rain a father? You've got these perfect phrases, it's beautiful, just shooting you. 28. Hath the rain a father? What a simple, beautiful way of putting it. Are you the father of rain? Ice? Out of whose womb did the ice come? Did you produce that one? Out of whose womb, is that a phrase? Comes the ice, and the hoary frost of Britain. Who invented it? And we all know the beauty of the frost when you get these, get down in Washington these days when the ice freezes on the trees, every little branch sparkles. Can you do that? Then he turns it away from things of earth to things of heaven. He says, can you keep together that little group of stars called the Pleiades? That can be seen as a little group in the heavens. Could you hold those together? Verse 31 is one of the most standard points. The amateurs don't know much about it, but the situation of the stars, the astronomy, the little group called the Pleiades. A sweet influence. I don't know why that phrase is particularly used, but again, a beautiful phrase. Transcribed by the sweet influence of the Pleiades. Or could you loosen up that which holds Orion together? Orion is that great constellation, like a man with a belt. And even one of its stars alone, Betelgeuse, a great central star, is about 1,000 times as big as the sun. Just one star. This great band which goes on named Orion. And we do, of course, here, during the tropics, it's a thrill to see the night sky in the tropics, with the southern cross shining. It's a peculiar light you get in these, and you can see the Orion there so often, and see these, just a few, I'm not an amateur, just a few of the constellations you know. Of course, we left the North Star behind, you're in a glowing, beautiful, glowing southern cross you get. Night after night when I was going down the Nile, I went about 5 times down the Nile on little pedal steamer among the crocodiles and whatnot, and it used to took out in mosquito cabin at night. There you could see this beautiful tropical sky. Every star seemed to have an extra shine about it. Can you do that? Can you handle the zodiac? The word in the King James is Mazzaroth. Canst thou bring forth a measure? Mazzaroth is the zodiac. There are two thoughts, of course, about it in astrology about the zodiac. It's supposed to be in the aquatic age today or something, aren't we? But also history has been something about the zodiac. It seems to have been some silent outline of the gospel message. I'm not going to that ever. There may be much about astrology which we don't think much about. There may not be much in it. There's something in the wise men in the East. Those men saw something in the star which died in the Bethlehem. I'm not having time to go into those things at length, but some may. But I'm not saying there isn't something in the zodiac and the messages that I think they're able, if any have done it, to trace out the process of the gospel. See the different sides of the zodiac. Here he mentions it. Can you bring forth the zodiac? Can you bind that great lumbering constellation called the Bear, the Great Bear? Canst thou guide Arcturus with his sons, that's the Great Bear? So really puts him on his spot. You handle this marvel. Touches some animal nature. He starts by the lie. He says, could you find a prayer for the lion? Verse 39. Could you think the everlasting young lion? Could you provide for them with their necessary meat? Or could you show the raven where to get the food for his young ones? So he thinks of the bird getting the food for the young ones. Lions won't get any food for themselves, finding their prey. And we all know in the bird life how they spend their ages getting different food for their young ones. And it says in verse 21, can you provide the raven with the food which his young ones cry to God? This is some of the sillier, wilder types of animal. That's known to us now. The breeding of the wild goats. Can you undertake how they bring their children, how they bring their little ones into birth? The wild goats. Can you remember the months they fulfill? In other words, the months of pregnancy? Can you order that, the regular pregnancy of animals? Or could you handle a wild ass, a wild donkey? It's a very independent gentleman, the donkeys usually are, human as well as animal. Could you handle him, this independent fellow? His house is in the wilderness, the barren land is barren, he scorns the multitude of the city, regardless not the cry of the grabber, takes the notice of anybody. Lovely these touches, aren't they? The range of the mountains is his pasture, he searches for every green thing. The wild ox, the same, called the unicorn here. The animals, of course, are more the desert animals. That's verse 9. The wild donkey, the wild ass, is verse 5. That's chapter 39. There you have other little touches. He says, could you produce the goodly wings of the peacock? I like that one, don't you? 13. Could you produce those wonderful colourings? They must do the goodly wings of the peacock. And he kept a very opposite end. Could you produce that funny, careless animal called the ostrich, who goes and lays its eggs in sand, leaves the sand to warm and forgets the eggs? And then he says, and it was God who deprived her of wisdom. Like that one. There are millions to me anyhow, it's like fishbowl. I like that touch. That's in verse 17. The God deprived the ostrich. I didn't know ostriches did do that, actually. They didn't care about the young ones, hide the eggs in the sand, risk to be crushed, and let the sand back to the warm sand as the incubator. And God has deprived you of wisdom. And while the ostrich is lifted up as if on high, scolding at the horse in his rider. Have you seen that? There's ostriches there. Here, shouting for nobody. There things like that beautiful, magnificent statement on a horse. It's worth reading that. All right the way through. It's tremendously poetic. The horse, well, we all feel a shape for the animal, a clean-cut animal. Humans always loved horses. There's great limbs, there's wonderful muscles. So there's been especially like something sculptured. But everybody admires the horse. We read that bit, verse 19. Hast thou given the horse strength? Hast thou closed his neck with thunder? You know that curving neck? Shalt thou make him afraid of the grasshopper? The glory of his nostrils is terrible. You see the widening nostrils of the horse. He poureth the valley, he rejoiceth in his strength, he goeth out to meet the armed men, he mocketh at fear, he is not affrighted, neither turneth he back from the sword. The quiver rattleth against him, the glittering spear and the shield, then he swalloweth the ground with fierceness and rage. You see him thundering over in the charge, how hopeless you are under the charge of a horse. He swalloweth the ground in the fiercest rage, Neither believeth he that it is the sound of the trumpet. He sits among the trumpets, ha ha. He smelleth the battle afar off, the thunder of the captains and the shouting. Isn't that some statement? Isn't that one of the greatest pieces of poetry written, I reckon? Classic remark, presentation of hyperbole, whether things are said in exaggerated form, make you struck home by this magnificent animal. Can you make that? Can you provide the hawk with a clear-sighted eye, which can see right up, I think, looking down the ground, way up there? That the hawk fly by your wisdom, stretch his wings towards the south, that the eagle mount up without command, that the hawk is soaring there to dive and catch his prey with its sharp eyes. This is magnificent eagle floating up and making its nest on the rocks. Can you do that? Verse 27, that make the eagle mount up, make a nest on high. That alone is enough for Job. And God stops short there. And the answer is, Job, say it again, shall he that contendeth with the Almighty instruct him? You contend with me, can you instruct me? Shall you think? That's what you are. Then it goes down bit by bit. These kinds of company which puts in the possible situation. Look at the sea. Could you guide the sea so as it has certain shores and limitations? There's verses 8 onwards. So it doesn't overflow and flood anything, so it keeps its place. Could you do that? And then you move on to verse 12. Could you produce the wonderful dawn called the day spring? Beautiful phrase, the day springs up on high, especially because of Jesus. But the earlier, the freshness of the dawn. Could you do that to me? And when the light dawns, you use it as the light shines and you move the high little coins that people do so you can see that they shouldn't do. Could you do the other end? Can you open the gates of death? Can you handle death in its meaning? Do you have a meaning? One great question mark for one thing is to what's death? Till we find the answer in Jesus Christ. That's in verse 17. Do you know what light comes from? That's the great question of science today. What's light? Everything's light. The science at speed, how it operates. And scientists say, I believe everything really is some form of light. Which way is the way of light going? So continue to ask, totally ask yourself, after, what do it is now, 5,000 years, they still ask about it. They're still feebly investigating around through the telescope and through the electronic microscope and so on, trying to find the from the tiniest particle up to the things they have at their what they call where the stars get together. What they all mean. So you move on again to have you entered the treasures of the snow? And you get these different perfect terms. Have you seen the treasures of the hair? Can you produce this beautiful thing snow, sparkling in the sun? That's in verse 22. It's the very rain that brings questions about doubt and panic. You that? Can you cause it to rain, he said in verse 26? And cause the rain and the wilderness for no man is, and bring fruit into desolate ground? 27. I love the place, has to rain a father. You got these perfect places, it's a beautiful, it's shooting you. 10 years, have to rain a father? And a simple, beautiful way of putting it. You the father rain? Ice? Out of whose womb did the ice come? Could you produce that then? Out of whose womb, is that suppose? Comes the ice, and the whole frost of certain years, does it? And we all know the beauty of the frost when you get these, go down in Washington these days and the ice freezes on the trees, every little branch sparkles. Did you do that? They turned it away from things of earth to things of heaven. Because can you put together that little group of stars for the Pleiades? There can be things that are grouped in the heavens. Could you hold those together? Verse 31. it's one of the first time that, for instance, the amateurs are great men back about it, but the situation of the stars, the astronomy, this is good for the Pleiades. The street influence, I don't know why that phrase is particularly used, it's a very beautiful phrase. Can Starbound the street influence the Pleiades? Or could you loosen up that show of Orion together? Orion is that great constellation, like a man in a book. And even one of its stars alone, different girls. A great central star is about 1,000 times as big as the sun. This one star. This great band which goes on in Orion. And he, of course, here, drawing the tropics, it's a thrill to see the night sky of the tropics, with the southern cross shining. It's peculiar light to get in these, and you can see the Orion there so often, and see these, just a few, I'm not an amateur, just a few of the constellations you know. Of course, we left the North Star behind, you know, and then going southern cross you get. Night after night, when I was going down the Nile, I went about 5 times down the Nile on little pedals seen them on the crocodiles and whatnot. And you used to sit out in the mosquito cabin at night. There you could see beautiful tropical sky. Every star seemed to have an extra shine about it. Can you do that? Can you handle the zodiac? The word in the King James is Mazarov. Cats are being called Mazarov is a zodiac. They do talk, of course, about it in astrology about the zodiac. In the aquatic age, today or something like it. But also history has been something about the zodiac. It seems to have been some silent outline of the gospel message. I'm not going to that ever. There may be much about astrology, which we don't think much about. There may not be much in it. Something in the wise days in the East. There's been called something in the stars guiding the Bethlehem. I'm not trying to go those things at length to come now. And I'm not saying there isn't something in the zodiac and the messages. I think they're able, if anything done, is to trace out the process of the gospel. See the different sides of the zodiac. Here he mentions it. Can you bring forth the zodiac? Can you bind that great lumbering constellation called the Bear, the Great Bear? Such a guy Arcturus with his sun, that's the Great Bear. So there you put him on his spot. You find this marvelous away? Can you move him about and loosen up one and touch up another? And arrange the zodiac in its courses? Then we move on to animal life. There's a few touches from animal nature. We start by the lion. Could you find a place for the lion? Verse 39. Could you think? You have to ask the young lion. Could you provide for them with their necessary meat? Or could you show the rodent where to get the food for the young ones? The food for the bird, getting the food for the young ones. Lions won't get the food for themselves. Finding their prey. But we all know in the bird life how they spend their ages getting different food for their young ones. And so the verse 31, can you provide the rodent with the food for which his young ones cry to God? The instances, however, still a wilder types of animal, less known to us now, the breeding of the wild goats. Can you undertake how they bring their children, how they bring their little ones into birth, the wild goats? Can you number the months they fulfill? In other words, the months of pregnancy? Can you order that, the regular pregnancy of animals? Or could you handle a wild ass, a wild donkey? It's a very independent gentleman, the donkeys usually are, human as well as animal. Could you handle him, this independent fellow? He fights in the wilderness, the barren land is barren, he scores the match in the city. The guy that's not the cry of the grabber, taking notice of anybody. Lovely you touch it, okay? The range of the mountains is his pasture, it's necessary of the green thing. The wild ox the same, called the unicorn here. The animals, of course, are more the desert animals. That's verse 9. The wild donkey, the wild ass is verse 5. That's chapter 39. There you have that little touches. He says, could you produce the goodly things of the peacock? I like that one, don't you? 13. Could you produce those wonderful colours? Notice you the goodly things of the peacock? And he kept the very opposite end. Could you produce that funny, careless animal called the ostrich, who goes and lays its eggs in sands, leaves the sand to warm and forgets the eggs? And then he says, and it was God who deprived her of wisdom. Like that one. God made him silly anyhow, that's his fault. I like that touch, that's in verse 17. God deprived the ostriches. I didn't know ostriches did do that, actually. They came like a young one, hide the eggs in the turn, risk to be crushed, and let the sand back to the warm sand as the incubator. And God deprived of wisdom. While the ostrich is lifted up as on high, scorned at the horse in his rider. Have you seen that? The ostrich is there, exactly carrying for nobody. Things like that beautiful, magnificent sitting on a horse. It's worth reading that. Or that they feel. It's very poetic. The horse, we all feel a shape for the animal, that clean-cut animal. Humans always loved horses. There's great limbs, there's wonderful muscles. So it's been special, like something sculptured. Everybody admires the horse. We read that bit, verse 19. Hast thou given the horse strength? Hast thou clothed his neck with thunder? You know that curving neck? Canst thou make him afraid of the grasshopper? The glory of his nostrils is terrible. You see the widening nostrils of the horse. He paws the valley, he dresseth in his strength, he goeth on to meet the armed men, he mocketh at fear, he is unfighted, neither turneth he back from the sword. The quiver rattleth against him, the glittering spear and the shield, then he swalloweth the ground with fierceness and rage. You see him thundering over in the charge, how hopeless you are under the charge of a horse. He swalloweth the ground in the fiercest rage, neither believeth he that it is the sound of a trumpet. He sets among the trumpets, ha ha! He sweareth the battle afar off, the thunder of the captains and the shouting. Isn't that some something? Is that not a gracious piece of poetry written, I reckon? Classic remark, presentation of hyperbole, you know, many things are said in exaggerated form, to make you struck home by this magnificent animal. Can you make that? Can you provide the hawk with a clear-sighted eye, which can see right up and see anything down the ground, way up there? That the hawk fly by your wisdom, stretch its wings towards the south, that the eagle mount up at our command, that the hawk is soaring there to dive and catch its prey in its sharp eyes. This is magnificent eagle floating up and making its nest on the rocks. Can you do that? Verse 27, make the eagle mount up, make a nest on high. That alone is enough for Job. And God stopped short there. And he answered Job, said again, shall he that continues to be Almighty instruct him? You contend with me, can you instruct me? Can you teach me how to do this and this and this and this and this? And Job answered, he see the measure of knowledge of God against the ignorance of man. Behold, I am vile, what shall I answer thee? I lay my hand upon my mouth. Chapter 14, verse 3. Once have I spoken, I will not answer you. Twice I will proceed no further. As I first glimpse of the helplessness, the ignorance of man, not quite the helplessness, the ignorance of man, and no nothingness of man. What are you trying to describe how God does things or handling? You know nothing. Can you do any of these things? If you have tremendous presentation to nature, or as of my nature, it's tremendous presentation, incident after incident, things after things, is it beautiful, marvelous, wonderful, ordered, each in the right place, you can't touch one of them. God does a lot. He had one more final blow to Job's humanity, not to Job's Holy Spirit center, but to his soul reaction, his humanity. And that's the powerlessness. He just uses two simple examples of the animal power. He's put all this on wisdom so far, the intricacy of wisdom which can make these things what they are. Now, if you take two things, the power of the animals seems to be that. And he picks out the hippopotamus. But if it is our day, then I pick out the elephant. And that's going to beat him off. It does say the elephant in margin, but it speaks about this animal as the shady trees covering him in their shadow, and the willows in the book compassing him about. So he doesn't care about water, he's the way he acts with water. He isn't the one the elephant does. A hippopotamus does, doesn't matter which. Anyhow, it's an enormous animal. Look at his bones, it says. His bones are strung like pieces of glass. This is verse 15 onwards in chapter 14. Sinews are sewn wrapped together. His bones like glass. His bones are bars of iron. These great, pondering, powerful iron, what do you do with them? I've taken in my life one day, because I went out shooting a hippopotamus where I knew one was in the river. But I forgot these bars, these bones like iron. I shot him, but the bullet bounced off. It's annoyed him, that's my trouble. And that old beggar stayed in the middle of that stream, which is about 200 yards broad, all day, cutting his head up. I couldn't possibly get back. I had little to do. I couldn't get past. I didn't dare. Because he might try to be an unmarred hippopotamus. And so I lay on an old trunk, kicking the ants off, the ants like old trunks, kicking the ants. All day I lay there. And when evening time came, I took a chance off and face, and stepped back to me by and that because I asked before he got me. The reason why I shot the hippopotamus is a meat for the Africans. They love hippopotamus, they put the meat on it too. So I didn't get my prey for the Africans on the plate. I staked in my life and beat them off. So I think they're mighty animals anyhow. They're mild animals. Eat grass, it says so here. They're not carnivorous. Verse 15, eats grass like an ox. He's slow moving, not all that slow. He's amphibious. He lives in the water, lives on the land. You find him on both. He knows how to far in the land. He says he had the shade of the trees in the marshland, that's where you find him, or just in the rivers. Schools of them, of course. But they're very harmless. You don't bother in a hippopotamus except if the Africans need meat. Then he picks up otherwise the fiercest of animals. If you don't say it, the crocodile. So he makes certain examples of the power of the physical makeup of one of these huge animals, and the philosophy His advisor makes you wise to keep out of his way, and that's crocodile. And he tells about with that, he says, this is verse 41, chapter 41. When you put a hook in his nose, or a boy's jaw through with a thorn, put them on that. I like the idea of verse 5. Did you play with him as a bird? Did you have a pet crocodile? Did you bind him to your daughter? Sometimes you schnauzer, have a crocodile. It's so different. He says, you watch him. He says, because it's no none so fierce, verse 3. And they are fierce, but they don't need stirring up as far as I know. They need to stir you up, they get jobs. The only way you have to handle crocodiles is crocodiles won't come where the water there's running water, where there's a waterfall. So my wife and I are pouring, you see, sitting in the hot days in this river under a little waterfall, where the crocodiles out here, they didn't come, so you're safe. They didn't make the play with him like a bird, so we avoided that one. He then stand before him. And so he uses those phrases, verse 14, who can open the doors of his face? His teeth are terrible round about. His tails are as his pride, shut up, so nothing can get between them. They join like one to another, stick together, they can't be sundered. It goes on almost as if he's speaking of the mythical dragon, and saying a dragon where sparks come out. And maybe that was just a very hyperbole, an overstatement. The sparks came from him, so on, like the old mythical dragon idea, of course there never was such animals as far as we know. And so he goes on to this chapter, presenting the huge strength of the elephant, the hippopotamus, and the fierceness of the ferocity of the crocodile. That ends it. That is Job off. This outpouring, I suppose it came in some form of vision. Whether it is spoken verbally to him, I don't know, but it's a marvelous presentation. Now then something happened. Job had seen, he hadn't got to the text. Now he's seen, the answer isn't in my knowledge or my strength. He can now see the helplessness of self. In its relationship is independent. That this had come home to him now. And so now he speaks again in the last chapter to God. And Job answers the Lord, I know thou canst do anything, and no thought can be withheld upon me. Here I'm speaking, I will speak. Now verse 5. Now, here's it. Silent in the dawning vision, the dawning of the Spirit, the full sunlight of the Spirit. I've heard of thee, and hear in my ear, now mine eye seeth thee. That's it. So now he is in seeing, viewing always. You only see after one day. Now I see. Now I'm with you in what you are. Oh, this is it. I'm with this wonderful God. His wonderful wisdom, wonderful power, the producer of untold beauties and controls and just in nature. I wonder if this I see him now. He's not some distant creator figure to me. He's the one with whom I come into inner sight. Is the inner union, because this was mine eye deity, not I, but the inner union. Now that it's a transformation game, because you live in the liberty of sin or that with which you're united. Now he moves away to consider his body elements, the reveling in the spirit truth. Now it changes. He says on his body elements, why God has given him this and this and this. Now he's filling up with the glory and inner truth. That he and God are together in what is we take our language in this union by which he was just a means of which God was showing forth his wisdom and showing forth his glory. And God had kept him this way to bring him to the final end of a separated self-outlook. A separated self-outlook. In a separated self-outlook, he saw what could happen. I don't want this to happen. I would like this to happen. I want to learn like this. Separated self is it's still the leavings of the independent self, the form. A separated self will want what it wants and try to avoid what it wants to avoid. There's trouble if you can't do that. So although Job wasn't a separated self in the United States, he didn't know wholly who he was. So all the book of Job is concerned Job who he really was. Come back to one, the Lord gave, the Lord took it away, blessed be the name of the Lord. You say the Spirit of the Lord turns good, why can't he also say it away? Now he's back there. So, I'm no longer a separated person, living a life under my own plans or pleasures or ambitions or gains. I'm a very fit in the New Testament. I'm a form of God, and my faith in life is still the manifest to people, the love and beauty and power and presence of God, and the availability of God's love and grace to all men. Now he lifted out into this freedom from self-questioning, self-pity, self-condemnation, freedom. So he said, my mind changed. Since I abhor myself, I repent. The presence of the mind. I repent. I dropped this because he said, I, Job, need something, I had something. No. I'm fully yours now. I'm fully your man. No ages. But show to the world what you want to show to the world. Now, of course, liberty and joy attract and convict. Self-pity alienation disturbs. And the element Job had been in was the self-pity element. Now it's in the self-liberty, the freedom, the joy, the praise element. Now this moves over to the brothers, the friends. Apparently they had a local separation, because in verse 7, after all said to Job, which meant probably the atmosphere had changed. They at least heard something happening with Job, country God, saying, lifting the one of the Lord, occupied it, that he was allowed to be a Lord's servant, and this is different. Job, what's happened? Because it said after Job had spoken, then he spoke to the friends. Now the likelihood that the friends weren't so far off, because they'd just been having this controversy, and probably just separated, like you do separate, a little trouble between you. And the voice came to the friends. Well, the friends heard God's voice too. So it says the Lord spoke to the friends, to Eliphaz and the others. That could have been again an inner conviction. Well, yes, we see, we locked up that free spirit of Job. We've been wrong somewhere. We had the wrong thing here. We've been saying things we shouldn't say. So when it came to the direct word in the middle the friend, or when it came to, as I said, change up the same, I'm told. Anyhow, its result was that they must have what Job had. He had not spoken to me, the thing is right, verse 7, as my servant Job had. Well, Job hadn't been speaking right, he had died. In other words, Job got it now. You better get what Job got. You haven't got what Job got, so you see, come on now, come on. And let's go back to Job now. So he said to them, verse 8, the back of Job. And most of what they did in those days, the recognition of God's grace and by sacrifice and so on, that we could meet God through sacrifice as they did in those days. The back of Job. Now Job was prayed to because I accept Job. Job was far too busy to pray for them to have something. He was far more occupied getting to them what he got, which was acceptance. So that's the prayer you get from Job. I accept Job. So here, I accept Job. Vice versa, it says it. It says, here do I accept, chapter, yes, in the verse 8, and the Lord accepted Job. Verse 9. Accepted his freedom. It said, no, it's okay with God, I understand that. That was his prayer. His prayer to the brethren is the prayer of faith. He said, come on now, let's do together everything. If you got free from wrong attitude yourself, you're not busy looking at the wrong attitude of the other person, you're busy telling them they're free. And this is the freedom they own too. Come on, let's have the freedom. The freedom, because they only have days for sacrifice, so you don't got that. So his prayer, so he prayed his brothers, the prayer of love, fellowship, and acceptance and transmission, based on acceptance. And there it says in verse 10, the Lord turned the captivity of Job when he prayed for his friends. Job was never captive to any household. Job was captive to his body, he was captive to his spirit. The captivity to Job is a captivity. The captivity is wrong attitude. Questioning and doubting and sense of day and law. That is his captivity. And the Lord turned the captivity, so when you transmit it, when you externalize it, it has a view. And the same principle is, long after, Paul said, if you confess your mouth the Lord, you have salvation. If you believe in your heart, you have justification. But justification is God saying, in my sight you're right. You do have your heart. You say, well, God, I trusted Jesus, and God's your believer, it says, believe unto righteousness. Righteousness is God counts you righteous. Well, God counts me righteous. That's in my heart. Confession is their salvation. Because confession justifies something. If it's justified, comes back to his will. So you don't get the liberation of salvation when you confess Christ and believe inwardly. Inwardly is the fact. I think there are many in our churches like that, who have had the gospel, and inwardly, and maybe they like to take the Holy Communion and whatnot, they have an inner sense, joy, I'm liberty with it. An inner sense, well, this is the way God provided, and through that I'm accepted, and therefore they believe in their heart unto righteousness, and in God's heart they're accepted. But they haven't got that which liberates to transmit others. When they move into confession, which doesn't mean confession, which means they confess their mouth the Lord Jesus to other people, because that's a high thing. But the justification, has a repercussion, because the people there are justified. So as he affirms his freedom to the brothers and with the brothers, and they together got the freedom, his captivity is gone. Oh, it's free now. So he is captivity, because that's what captivity is. Now the household is changed. The lonely man becomes a happy family man. Because the state of the household is changed. Instead of, I reckon that he's getting healed too. I reckon when your spirit gets healed, the body gets something too. Because it says that all the family began together. His brothers and sisters came out from distances and ate bread with him. It's not difficult to eat bread with a man full of boils. Luckily, he had less boils, I think probably he's our spirit, his body. Because there was company, fellowship, freedom, fun, joy. This was something new. So what drew the brethren wasn't a poor self-pitying Job and their ash heap. It was Job is saying to the ash heap and treasure heap. and sitting on rich treasure that the treasure of God and His love and His beauty and His power and His goodness. And this is what is a joy that praise the Lord through what He did, and made this through us what He did, and moved their hearts to comfort Him, or comfort Him in other words, show their love with Him. I think that's good, it's comforting them more than He said. But there's this color, this flow. Good, coming into being again. It has ultimate effect on his family life. Doesn't always, I suppose, have that way, but he had a renewal, a vast increase of his prosperity. And that's got the camels and horses and a large family. He had 7 sons more, didn't he? And 4 daughters, and 3 daughters. So his wife, I believe he only had one. She already had at least 6 grown sons. So he didn't do that. He tried again, had 7 more. God bless her. And 3 daughters. Pretty well. And they were beautiful girls. Of course, all girls are beautiful, aren't they? It says that the women, no women were found so fair as in 613 North Morgan. No. As in, the house of the Job. And they were blessed. And Job lived 140 years. Died old and full of days. So that's the lesson of Job, that by all means he takes us all that way. This is the permanent way. By all means he uses evil, and actually we see here sometimes there's parked off and things are happening to us. But as we have the impact of evil, only by that means can we come into unified outlook, which can force us to say it isn't only the good from God, it's all from God. The unified outlook becomes a unified permanent condition. This is this union. When you settle into it, through pain and sorrow and birth, and you're settled into a unified condition. Now this is the permanent condition. Now this is God. You're not running around yourself. You've got that behind. You've got yourself now that God's agent produces comfort and joy and blessing and fulfillment. And it's still a tempted self, because we're here in a tempted world, and we don't meet with the world in a situation, help those two temptations. We don't live fussing about temptation. We're free people. In God's freedom, in God's joy. In the realization is really this perfect God I'm in the union, so he's the real person, and now he can't think himself free with others. I'm occupied by other people getting what I've got. This is the life. Well, there's another thing we'd like to say on Gabe. I thought it would be a bit shorter.
Explain again about the confession with your mouth. You want to explain again about the confession with your mouth and believing in your heart.
That's Romans 10. I think it's quite an important point of all faith. So if it that confirmed to me something substantial when I'm speaking it out or acting it out. He's speaking about what Moses originally spoke about, and I said yesterday in Deuteronomy. The word is in our mouth and our heart. The word of faith, which we repeat. The word, which means Christ is there. The word of faith can only be Christ is the word of faith. It's there already, because Christ is there already. And you're not, it specifically says that. You don't pull him down from above or pull him up from beneath. This is, look at it now, it's the 10th chapter. Romans 10 and 9. But Moses described the righteousness and so on, and that's very righteous. Verse 6. The righteous people of faith speaketh on this God. Actually, it's Moses' speaking.